Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is GarrettJPeters, and today I want to show you how to play this solo that I wrote for the new PUBG Mobile rock track. Now, if you guys want, this is a really awesome pro music video that we shot up in LA at the Village Studios. I'll leave a link for that in the description below. You should definitely check it out because it is sick. Now, I know that this solo is a bit slower than a lot of the stuff that I play and cover here on this channel, but when I got the backing track, I couldn't help but notice that this was really calling for like a Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb, like classic rock type of solo. So I went with that, and even though it's pretty easy, there's a lot of nuances that I'm gonna go over. So if you're a beginner to intermediate player, definitely grab your guitar and we're gonna walk through this step by step so you can get this one down. Now, a quick reminder before we get started, I just wanna let you all know that I do give Skype lessons. So I've been teaching for 8 years. If you want, definitely shoot me an email. I've got that listed in the description below. Also, I've started a brand new service for those of you that might not want to commit to one-on-one Skype lessons. I'm now offering customized video guitar lessons, teaching you any riff or solo that you want to learn, just like you're going to see in this video right now. I've been doing these on Fiverr for a bit now, and they've been a ton of fun. So if you want, I'll leave a link for my Fiverr in the description below, but you can always just email me directly if you have any questions about any of these services at all. Lastly, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out this channel a lot, and it's free. Anyway, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so for this solo, we're actually tuned to E standard, and we're gonna start with this first lick right here. It's gonna go like this. So basically what I'm doing is I'm kind of heavily palm muting here, the 5th fret of the D string with my first finger, and then playing 7. From there, I'm gonna play the next note, which is 5 of the G string. Then I'm gonna hammer on and pull off to 7 and back to 5. From there, I'm going to go to the D string, 7th fret, and play 5 as well. So again, you can hear the palm mutes on the first notes. Then on the G string, I want those to ring a little bit more aggressively. And then back to palm muting on that D string. And then finally, we've got the bending part, which is going to go on the 7th fret G string. I'm kind of doing a quick little like pull, like about a half step pull, and I'm releasing it back to pitch immediately. And then doing a really long gradual bend before I get into the next lick. So one more time, that part all together. To the next lick, which is this guy, which is kind of simple. I'm sliding into the 5th fret of the B string, rolling to the E string, and back to the B string. Then I'm going to play 8 of the B and give it a full step bend. Then I'm going to release it to pitch, pull off to 5, and then give it a nice vibrato. So one more time, those 2 licks together. Try and control that vibrato too. You want to make sure it's nice and wide. One thing I like to tell my students is, imagine that this is a string right here. If you're pulling it, try and always pull it to the same spot. You don't want to be inconsistent, pulling wider and then shorter. Always the same. Be nice and consistent like that. So that's really, really nice. So from there, we got the next lick. Kind of the same type of idea as the last one, right? I'm going to slide into B 5th fret, back to E string, back to B string. Then I'm going to play 7 E, back to the B string, 5th fret, then 8 of the E, and then 7 with a nice half step bend. So one more time. From here, I'm going to release the bend to pitch really quickly, and then hammer on to 8, pull off the 7 and 5, and then I'm going to pick 7 again and give it another bend. And add some vibrato at the end. So one more time all together really slowly. Continuing from that last note, we got this lick right here. So again, from that vibratoed part, we're gonna do the same thing we did in the last lick where we quickly return it to pitch, so that way these hammer-ons and pull-offs are in tune. Return, hammer on to 8, 7, 5, then I'm gonna slide up to 7. But the thing I'm gonna do here after the vibrato is I'm gonna pick the first note, because it falls on that accent. It feels really nice. From there, I'm gonna play 8, 10, and slide up to 12. Then I'm gonna play 10 with my middle finger and slide back up to 12 and give it some vibrato. So this lick is a little bit confusing. I'm gonna play it all together from this bend. And the last 3 notes, it's just gonna be 14 on the G string, 12 and 14. And again, some of that vibrato that we love. From there, we're gonna play this part. And again, we're just continuing on the G string. I'm gonna play 12 and hammer on to 14. Then I'm gonna string skip with my middle finger to 13E, slide up to 15 and give it some vibrato. Now, you might be noticing throughout a lot of this lick, I'm doing this big, like exaggerated right hand motion. This is actually called raking, and it really helps to make a note sound fatter, a little bit bigger, have a little bit more expression to it. So you see me using it a lot. I really like the sound of it. I think it helps and adds flavor to the solo. So what I'm doing to achieve this sound is I'm actually heavily muting with my right hand, not so much in the palm muted position. The palm muted position's okay, but I prefer to move up a little bit, and I really like to get the low E string in there. It adds a lot of like density to the note. So. And that's what I'm doing. I'm just going all across all the strings and then kind of lifting up at the end with this knocking motion, so I can get that last note to actually ring and not be muted. It takes a little bit of practice, but if you get this down, you can start, utilizing it everywhere, and it sounds really good. If you get your bends in pitch, of course. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing a lot here, and you're gonna see it a lot in this lick right here. So moving on the notes, like I said, I'm gonna play on the E string, continue from that 15th fret vibrato, 13, 12, 13, 15 with my pinky, and slide up to 7. That's what it's gonna sound like. And then when I get to 17, I'm gonna choke that note for that big stop that happens with the rhythm guitars. I want the next note to be all epic, so that nice pause is gonna add that emphasis. So. And then from there, I'm gonna pick the same note with, again, that raking motion, slide up to 19, and then slide up to 20, and then give it a full half step bend, with a lot of vibrato. So, and for that last part, I'm actually doing the same thing we did in the lower part here, where I'm actually going up a half step, bringing it back to pitch, hammer on to 20, pull off to 19 and 17, and then giving it again that 19th fret half step again with vibrato. So that whole lick one more time. The next lick is a blues lick, or my kind of sad attempt at a blues lick, and it goes something like this. So what that's going to do is going to start on the 17th fret of the high E string with your first finger. You're going to play that, and you're going to roll to the B string. Then I'm going to play with my third finger the 20th fret, and I'm going to give it a nice wide full step vibrato. From there, this long run starts to happen. Right there. So it's going to actually be the same first few notes, 17, 17, 20, but instead of this 20th fret B string, I'm going to play it with my pinky this time. So the first time I did the bend with my third finger, it feels a little bit more comfortable. On the way back, play with my pinky, because the next note is going to be the 19th fret G string, which I'm going to do a bend as well, and I want to do that with my third as well. I'm just giving that a full step bend, and then playing that 17 of the B string. So altogether, that little half. From there, I'm going to continue descending from the 20th fret G string, 20, 19, 17. Then I'm going to play, 19 of the D string, and then I'm going to do this double stop kind of bend. It's kind of bluesy thing on the 17th fret of the G and the B string. So altogether again. And again, I'm kind of raking to give it that nasty sound. And a little bit of a kind of vibrato, not really too much because it's so quick, so kind of just like pulling the strings down just once. From there, I'm going to continue downward. I'm going to play the 19 and 17 of the D string. And then I'm going to do that bluesy thing, so it's going to be 19, 18, 17, 15 on the A string there. So. But when I get to the 15, I'm actually going to kind of do a quick hammer on and pull off onto 17 and back to 15. And then 17, 15, 17 to finish off the lick on the low E string. Vibrato, and then quick 15 hammer onto 17. And then I'm playing this little chord right here before sliding out. It's 15 on the A string and 14 on the D string. So one more time all together. I know it's a lot of notes, so I'm going to play it really slowly for you. So. Moving on to the second to last lick, we got this guy right here. Basically what I'm doing is I'm playing 5 and 5 on the B and the G string for that chord. Kind of doing that same type of sound that we did up here. But then I'm going to play 7 of the D string, and I'm going to play that twice in a row. Then I'm going to chromatically move down on the A string here, 7, 6, 5, and give it some vibrato. Then I'm going to put the open E string, hammer onto 5 and 7 as well. And then pick 8, and that ends that part. So one more time. And then finally, we got the last little arpeggiated section. It's going to go something like this. Basically what I'm doing to achieve this sound, I'm really heavily palm muting and I'm digging in with a bunch of downstrokes here. So let's go over that pattern though. I'm going to show you it in groups of 4 notes, so it's a little easier to understand. So from the low E string, 5th fret, you're going to play 5, 8, then 7 on the A string and the D string. So that's the first 4 notes. Again, all downstrokes. From there, I'm going to go back down to the A string, 7th fret, and play the 7th fret A, 7th fret D, 5 G, 5 B. So that's the next 4. 7, 7, 5, 5. So one more time, those 3 parts together. And then we're finally going to hit that 8th fret with my pinky on the B string. I'm going to give it a full step bend and add some vibrato. And that's pretty much it. So just remember to take these little sections that I've kind of shown you today, broken them up into little sections, right? Work on them one at a time and then put them all together and start working on them that way. That way you can master each one at a time and work on the transitions, and you'll have this down in no time. Here's my happy fucking face. All right, today I want to show you how to play this solo of, I don't remember what it's called anymore. I'm just saying random words. Okay, but I don't need to do this. I couldn't help but, yeah, fucking suck at that line. Weird. Okay, you can check out the link down on the, lastly, like to, lastly, don't like to,